Let's go Broncos! Billy, we might go all the way this year.
Smells like playoffs.
That's all.
I'm a weirdo.
It is 6 a.m. I know, this is where we jinx the team. 6 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Monday, November 17th, which should be a holiday week.
Yes.
What the heck?
Should be a holiday week.
So
but
late.
I know, it is, but oh well. What do we do?
Well, we can get it next week.
Know.
But you've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Lots to talk about today. Those airplanes taking off again as the FAA lifts its order, slashing flights, allowing commercial airlines to resume their regular schedules. It was a fun weekend listening to the Democrats try to explain why they kept the government shut down and then just basically agreed to open it on what could have been agreed a long time ago. We'll get into that. Plus, MTG and DJT. Wowzers.
Yeah,
Getting
that's
a little
unexpected.
spicy.
I didn't have that on the bingo card.
And then Trump saying, vote for the opening of the Epsteins, but it seemed kind of like he was frustrated that Republicans were voting for the open because they did call Lauren Boebert into a meeting.
Yeah,
What is going on? So I'm ready for the vote. Come on, Tuesday is supposed to be the big vote and release all the documents. We'll get into that in the 8 o'clock hour, and then the Catholic bishops making some statements out there on immigration issues. We'll cover all of that. It's going to be spicy, as usual, this morning on the Jeff and Bill Show. Now it's time, though, for news and comment. Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Monday morning. 44 and clear in Denver, expecting a high of 58 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, air travelers should have fewer headaches to deal with. Today at DIA, the FAA is lifting its flight reduction order at airports nationwide starting this morning. And the other top story, tied at 19, just under 4 minutes to play. Chiefs at the Broncos, Jaquan McMillan storming in from the right side.
Barely beat the play clock. Here comes the blitz, and they got him back at the 14. It's McMillan for the second time in this game.
So the Chiefs punt, the Broncos drive down the field.
Here's Nix on 2nd and 8. Going for a big throw, and it's caught by Franklin.
Big throw and big play by Franklin. And then with 3 seconds to play in the game from Mile High Stadium.
5 yards, Will Lutz. He's already made 4 today. Lutz in the clutch, and the Broncos have won it.
22-19, they have won 8 straight. They lead the AFC West at 9-2. Jaquan McMillan.
9-2. What?
Why are you surprised by that?
Awesome, man.
Ridiculous. 9-2.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
it's so cool. This could be 11-0.
You knew that was gonna happen.
Those 2 losses were all close, too.
They're all close. They're all field goals. Field goals. I'm tired. It's done. They need to stop.
Here come the old Muppets. Angry about kicking in football.
I turned on a football game for the first half and saw 6 field goals. That's what football is all about.
Soccer boy here is happy.
Let's hear from McMillan, and then you guys can talk, because I know you want to wax poetic here. Let me see. 2 sacks and 1 interception.
We knew we needed to make a play, like you said, and I knew it was going to be one of us. And VJ just so happened to call the right play, for me. I kind of timed it up well off Mahomes' hands, and I went in there and made a play on him. And the offense went in there, did their job, drove downfield. Troy had a great catch. We wound the time down, and he made a kick, and we won the game.
There you go. So, you got your field goals, Jeff. You got to watch all those kicks and more kicks and kicks and kicks.
Dude, so cool. Little guy trots out there at the end of the game. All the big boys have done all the hard
That's
work.
so funny.
And, dude, he's got to nail it from 45, 50 yards. All that pressure.
So how
So
good are the
cool.
Broncos, Jeff and Bill? How good do you think they are? Are they top 5, top 4, top 3 team in the NFL? What do you think?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm putting them at least in the top 6, but only for one reason. Is if I was coming in, and I'm talking about playoffs, and I'm coming in to play the Broncos, I'm really, really, really worried because, now again, if I'm just with another team, I'm really worried because the Broncos offense isn't very dangerous. It doesn't scare me. But the Broncos defense scares me to death. And that's the problem, is you've got to figure, I mean, they were talking about it before the game, that you've got to figure out a way to score more than 18 or 20 and hold the Broncos under 16. And for years, the Broncos were never going to score more than 16, but our defense wasn't this dominant. And that's what would scare me. And especially if, and this is the only thing that I think is a lot different, is if the Broncos have home field. I think during the playoffs, that can really add an extra advantage to the team for anybody coming in, that it really creates a problem. And again, as you saw yesterday, snap count, stuff like that, and just basic disruption. So that's where I think it would be. I wouldn't be if I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Broncos, we're Super Bowl, this is they're the odds-on favorite. They're one of those teams that I want to avoid in the playoffs if I'm sitting somewhere else. Not that I don't think my team can beat them. It's just that they just keep doing this weird thing. That right near the end, they do just enough to stop my team from scoring, and they come back and score a field goal. I mean, any NFL fan has seen that happen enough that they have to have a little bit of trepidation about facing the Broncos in the playoffs, only because this basically is our MO, that we're just going to keep it close and then eventually kick it in the last 3 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I'd be afraid.
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I'm thrilled, man. Like you, Billy. I think the strength is all with the defense. But Bo Nix, he's fun to watch, and they have some good drives and some good running backs. I see, guys. This is where I'm kind of funny. I can tell you who chairs the education committee down at the Colorado State Capitol.
Yeah.
Outside of Bo Nix, I can't really tell you anybody else who's on the Broncos. So I'm just
that's the majority of football fans.
And then other teams, nah, dude, man, I throw in red zone. I just kind of watch people score. It's fun.
Oh, red zone's so much fun.
Gabe texting in. This is the ugliest 9-2 ever. No one cares about the Broncos. But Gabe, I'd love to see a little Raiders win tonight, right? They got Monday Night Football tonight.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Raiders are on Monday night. And here's the thing. I think the Broncos are a very weak 9-2 team, and I don't think that anybody out there in the NFL is scared of Denver. However, if you had them on your playoff schedule, you're a little bit worried. Yeah. And only because of how Denver has won. I mean, over and over and over again. If you look at, well, hang on, they did this. We've done this to both teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. That means something along the line. And that's the only thing. I don't think there are any NFL teams going, oh, my God, we got to be afraid of the Broncos.
Isn't it kind of nice to see Travis Kelce brought down a notch?
It is kind of nice, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that.
I enjoy it.
And Patrick Mahomes. And
yeah, that's the one that gets me.
Sacked.
Baby. I'm so happy that Mahomes is somewhat knocked off his pedestal because he has been so far above everybody else in the league since he arrived that he hasn't, in my mind, faced any real frustration. And if you watched closely yesterday, you saw some of that frustration boil over in tiny little emotional outbursts he was having. One of them being one of the last 2 drives, and Denver comes in. And it's where, if you're watching, the Denver guy comes loose. I think it's McMillan, who's the defensive back, gets loose off the right-hand side of the Denver offense, left-hand side of the Kansas City offensive line, comes around the end, no one picks him up, and he just hammers Mahomes, nails him, gets him to the ground. And because of how he tackled him, Mahomes immediately looks at the ref like, he hit me in the head. He hit me in the head. He hit me in the head. And you're like, oh, come on. I mean, it was the idea that he was whining so much about the fact that, and again, if you played team sports, you've played with or against someone like that someone else from the other team has a good play that screwed up wherever you were trying to go, and you're like, foul. Believe me, I've seen enough soccer players roll around on the ground going, oh, they kicked me. Yeah, so that's when I saw that, I'm like, get up, you big baby. I mean, he was only looking for the flag because he knew the play got stomped. And so he was looking for the refs to save him, and he did that a couple of times yesterday. And I'm like, stop it. Just stop it.
Well, there are 6 games left, and anything can happen. So, but this is huge in the AFC West, and I agree with you guys. If they're at home, and especially when the temperatures drop, it could be, you never know. It could be a 60-degree day in the playoffs, or it could be 20 below. And very few teams want to play at Mile High. So that is a huge advantage. However, now you look right now, I think they play Washington on the road, right? They go to Washington next week. So the divisional games are huge, but I can see the Broncos losing this game coming up this weekend.
Against the Commanders?
Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah. I could see a letdown on the road after a big win. But now the Chiefs are chasing the Broncos, and so are the Chargers. And but there's still 6 games to play, but they're in great position. They want the home field advantage. There's no doubt about it. With that defense, anything is possible.
Can we talk about how just kind of
kickers.
Wild it is to watch Condoleezza Rice during the games?
Yeah, that's weird.
It kind of bothers me.
Right. Why?
I'm
maybe,
done.
Maybe
I don't
I'm
need,
just
I don't
like
need to see the
old
owners
enough
anymore.
to remember when we were taking press briefings from her as Secretary of State.
Yeah, she's always said she wants to be the commissioner, and maybe she'd be a great commissioner. I'm sure she would be outstanding.
It's going to be like in 5 years, Marco Rubio owning a game. Just kind of wild. Now you got to tell us how Valor did. How was calling the game?
Well, Erie fought hard against the Valor Christian Eagles, and the Tigers took a 7-0 lead. Very first play from scrimmage. Their offense, the Erie did, threw a bomb, and they lead 7-0. Goes back and forth. It's
Hold
a good
on,
game, but then they open
play?
up. Yeah,
first play was just a bomber?
Yeah.
Dude,
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
both
love when
teams
the
did,
coach
actually.
just goes,
rip. Go for the jugular, man.
Yeah.
You don't in high school football now, man, they are not afraid. And actually Valor tried to strike when they had the ball first, and they weren't able to connect on 2 long passes. And then when Erie had the opportunity, they jumped out to a 7-0 lead, but Valor scored 70 points and won the game 70-28. If memory.
I love high school football, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was good. I mean, it's go out and support your high school football teams in the playoffs. It's great fun. It's the most affordable entertainment that you can get for your family, and you're supporting high school football. So the playoffs continue this weekend, and it's going to be great players, great teams, great coaches, and it's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend getting out there and supporting them. Hey, by the way, Shedeur Sanders, he makes his NFL debut.
Curious if you're going to mention that, my friend.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel knocked out of the game, and Shedeur went 4-16, 47 yards, 1 interception. And, when you're coming off the bench in a situation like that, I mean, there's not a lot of hope for you. It's going to look horrible on paper, but I call balls and strikes. He did a few things that were actually decent. Believe it or not, his offensive line didn't help him any. But the Ravens, they beat the Browns, and the Ravens are now 500. But they looked horrible also. There's a lot of bad teams out there.
There are. There's a real kind of churn going on, I think, in the NFL right now as far as teams, struggling that you expect to be dominant. And I got to watch a little bit of Shedeur, and there are some bright spots. There were some real negatives where he seemed to just lose faith in progression and get a little spooked. But again, those are really big, giant men that are fast trying to crush you. So I get that. For the first time in the NFL going,
true.
Wow, these guys are really big and they really want to hurt me. So I understand that and being thrown in. But there were some bright spots. There were some things where, there's a time, a couple of throws that he nailed that were pretty good, and a couple that were just off.
Exactly.
That you were like, okay, a little more timing, a little more familiarity with the routes. Yeah, but I'm going to have to try today to see if I can get a hold of some Browns, fan podcasts just to hear, because they have been kind of like behind the scenes. Shedeur. Not saying necessarily he's better than Dylan, but they want to see him. Now they saw him in an impromptu setting. I'm curious what they're going to say. I'm just curious. Yeah.
And a lot of them do think he's better than him.
Yeah.
If you look into the stands, you'll see a lot of, was he wearing? Is he wearing number 12 now?
Yeah, I forget what he's wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
12
Lots of
jerseys. I mean, it's like,
signs.
dude, he hasn't done anything.
No.
Okay. All right. His name is his number is retired at CU, which is ridiculous. That's a whole nother story. And, and his name should not be in the stadium, up there with Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter should be up there. He won the Heisman. But my question now it shifts. Okay. And I'll shut up in a second. I think Deion's going to resign. And so that's just a gut feeling, okay? You just look at everything that's going on. They have 2 more games left. They play Arizona State this week. And I could see Deion working out a deal so he can walk away and not look like he destroyed the football program. But there are a lot of things that could happen with CU football in the next 3 weeks. I can see that happening. And now that Shedeur is starting in Cleveland, if he starts this week in Las Vegas on a Sunday, I posted this on my X. Do you think that Deion will be present in attendance in Las Vegas on Sunday after CU loses to Arizona State on Saturday night?
It's too close for him not to go.
I agree. And he has a private jet.
Yeah, it's way too close for him not to go. Although, did you see, Shedeur's mom posted something on social media going after the Browns for how they're treating her son. Because
you're kidding me.
Mom is getting involved?
Yeah, because the one thing that we know with all professional athletes, once your parents get involved in berating the team, things always change and do better. That is a universal. When mom and dad get involved, the team goes, mom's concerned. I'm so sorry. What can we do better? That always helps the situation. Never provides more pressure or hurt feelings or even, some grumbling by those in charge inside the organization that why the hell does your parents think they can make the rules? That never happens. That's really going to help. Nice job there, Mom.
Exactly.
Just what the hell?
Man, I'm telling you. I mean, the Browns organization. I think 99% of them do not want Shedeur there, and that could contribute to how he plays. It may not. But I agree with you, Billy. If you turn on the radio in Cleveland this morning,
goodness.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear some. I'm going to have to go and find some of them because it's going to be interesting because they are rabid fans and they're just crazed at times. So
but you guys remember how they felt about Tebow. I was a season ticket holder at that point, and it was like, when are they finally going to put him out? When are they finally going to? And then they finally got it, and the crowd went crazy. And that crowd put
Tebow's
some
mom
pressure
wasn't
on
like,
there.
hey, Broncos.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But, however, there was a similar type circus. It was a different type of circus, but they both come with with the stuff around it, the distractions, both of them. So that's going to be very interesting to watch in the next few days. I'll give you one more story, and then you guys can continue. 2 suspects are in custody after a deadly crash or deadly crashes in Denver and Aurora. 8 vehicles involved in a Friday crash on I-25 near 44th Avenue, causing 1 death. 25-year-old Roberto Lamas Ochoa arrested for suspicion of vehicular homicide after the crash. A second death happened around 2 in the morning on Saturday when a Chevy Tahoe allegedly ran a red light and hit another vehicle at East Jewel and South Peoria in Aurora. 41-year-old Cornelius Thomas was arrested and also faces vehicular homicide. DJT and House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files coming up here. Trump posted that last night, that there is nothing to hide, and the House expected to vote as soon as tomorrow on a measure that would force the DOJ to release all the files. The 3 judges who were keeping them sealed, by the way, were Democrat appointed. All right, we got a lot to talk about today, and Jeff and Bill, they're going to continue. It's 42 in Brighton, 43 in Centennial, 44 in Denver, and you are waking up with Jeff and Bill on a Monday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast on this early Monday. Cloudy skies with temperatures right around 40 degrees by daybreak. For the rest of your Monday, could see some showers this morning before lunchtime, then becoming mostly sunny, highs near 60, overnight lows in the lower 30s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Is that magic in the air, Bill? Are the Broncos going to go all the way? How far into the playoffs will they get?
This is
Would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Suzanne commenting about Travis Kelce's good looks this morning.
He is remarkably attractive, and it makes me mad. He is. I'm sorry. I can be objective about that. Oh yeah, I can be objective about that. I'm like, yeah, the person is good looking because I look at this in the mirror every morning.
It's true.
So I got to be
able to.
We
We
do
have faces for radio.
Exactly. So I got to be honest about this. I was talking to Blake off air. I couldn't figure out if I was happier the Broncos won or happier the Chiefs lost. And I think that if I had to be honest, I was happier the Chiefs lost, in part because they're looking outside of the playoff race right now. They're on the outside looking in, which I think is fantastic. And
You are a true
Yes.
red-blooded Colorado
Yes, I am.
Broncos fan.
I absolutely
so
am.
So long as the Chiefs
and
the Raiders.
Yeah. Exactly. My second favorite team is always who's playing against the Raiders every week. It's and that's the thing that's hard for me right now is I am trying not to go over to the big, giant jug of orange Gatorade and just dump it all over myself and go, Broncos, and go crazy because they keep defying all of my expectations. I have been disappointed as a Broncos fan for years now that we always seem to tease that we're on the cusp of turning the corner. I'm not talking about the cusp of greatness. I'm talking about the cusp of turning the corner to respectability. And they have let me down over and over again that I am afraid to go all in and just go fanatical at this point. But they keep proving me wrong. And in past years where I felt the team found a unique way to lose each and every time, now they're finding ways to win. That final drive with the Chiefs, 2 interceptions? What the hell? And now one didn't count.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about
2 in
a penalty against Sean Payton. But yeah.
Yeah, but 2 in one drive against Patrick Mahomes? I'm sorry, but if you would have been in Vegas and they would have handed you 10 grand and said, hey, look at the odds you can make on Denver intercepting the ball twice on the final drive of the game for the Chiefs, and that turns into a winning field goal, you're like, I'm not that stupid. There's no way. Go find another sucker. You'd pass on that every day. But that's what happened. They continued to prove me wrong. So I'm real curious about the audience. Are you guys drinking the Kool-Aid yet? Or do you feel it? Is this, really the resurgence of Broncos country? And how confident can we be when we're winning by field goals? There's so many things wrapped up in this. I don't know, man.
Well, give us a call. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Gabe texting in. They're going to be one and done. That'll be it. Brock Bowers is better looking than Kelsey.
It's thing is, and again, for me, it depends on who comes to town. And that's the weird thing based on the seeding. It depends on who comes.
There's momentum, baby. Sean Payton.
It's, who is it?
Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Sutton.
Then there's
those are about the only 3 players I know.
The thing is,
one of them's not even a player.
Is J.K. Dobbins going to be gone for the rest of the season? Is it not? What's the running backs going to look like? But the scary thing, if you're trying to game plan against the Broncos, is they seem to do just enough to win. And how do you stop that? That's the dangerous thing when you look at the playoffs. Do I think there's a deep playoff run? No, I'm not betting on that right now. But would I be afraid coming into Denver? I wouldn't be as afraid bringing Denver into their house. But if someone has to come to Denver for a first-round game,
dude, I think that defense is good enough to possibly go all the way. I might be becoming a true believer.
Hey, all right. Look at this.
We'll continue.
Changing minds and hearts.
Let's talk Mountain High Appliance. Looking to upgrade your kitchen, laundry room, or outdoor cooking area? Look no further than Mountain High Appliance. Family owned and operated for the past 31 years. They have hundreds of appliances hooked up for you to have a true try-before-you-buy experience. They offer professional delivery and installation. Shop confidently with the price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best deal and special financing options. When it's time for appliances, think Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store. 3 locations in the Denver metro area or online at mountainhighappliance.com. mountainhighappliance.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Jacqueline this morning. Good morning, fellas from Nebraska. I think that Travis Kelce looks like a bulldog. Taylor Swift looks like a ferret. Neither of them are good looking. Wow, Jacqueline. She's just dropping bombs this morning.
That's how you really feel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well,
Ouch.
It was a good night for the Broncos. Good day yesterday for the Broncos.
Oh, heck yeah.
People in good spirits here in Colorado. Could they go all the way? Feel free to join us by giving us a call at 303-696-1971. Good news for us as well. FAA lifts the order slashing flights, allowing commercial airlines to resume their regular schedule. The FAA lifted all restrictions on commercial flights that were imposed at 40 major airports during the government shutdown. Airlines can resume their regular flight schedules beginning this morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, as the agency cited improved air traffic controller staffing since the shutdown ended. The FAA order had been in place since November 7th, cutting flights by up to 6% and affecting thousands of flights across the country due to staffing shortages during the shutdown. I listened to the Sunday talk shows, Meet the Press and others, Bill, and a lot of it was Democrats. What did you get for the shutdown?
Nothing. That's it.
All right. So then why put the country through this?
Yeah. They got nothing. And that's on them, because the idea that, hey, you put the country through this to get, and there was nothing on the other end. And I'm still surprised that a number of Republicans didn't take the lifeline that was the healthcare subsidies, because some of their constituents are going to have some really big questions about prices, and there's going to be a real blowback. Now, is it enough to flip seats? I don't know. We'll have to see. And how long is it going to linger? But I am surprised that they did not take that lifeline, at least to avoid some of the electoral consequences for the next 12 months or so. The other one is, looks like we're only open until January. Think we're shutting down again? What do you think?
Yeah, I was telling our kids that too. I was like, are we going to go back to it all over again? And
what do you think?
This is just what happens.
What would be if you had to bet at Vegas right now, since we're at Boone betting in the last segment, would you bet, what do you think the odds are? I mean, if we go from 0% to 100%, what do you think the odds are that we hit a second government shutdown
80
in January? Really?
80%.
I'm surprised that you went that high, because that's about where I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very, very, very likely, only because for me personally, those involved in Congress haven't been able to figure out that, annually, when we have this showdown over government funding and everybody's complaining about we got to do this or the government's going to shut down, since we're doing this on an annual basis and now we haven't been able to figure it out, and we've had 12 months, now we've given ourselves about 2.5 months, and now we're going to do it. The Congress might be the only place I have seen where procrastination does not actually lead them to getting the damn thing done.
I don't think anything does.
Yeah.
It's a wild place where you cannot deliver on anything, have the same battles we have year over year, actually shut down the government, and nobody will pay an electoral price.
Yeah. It is a mess.
In part because of gerrymandering, in part because we're two nations fighting over the same property.
Yeah, and we hate Congress, but we like our representative, universally. That we hate Congress, but the person that's in our district,
everybody loves Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, well, everybody in their district loves their representative. Yeah, that's the problem. Everybody thinks all the other people are the problem.
Jason Crow, come on, who really likes him?
I don't know. I mean, the weird part is
enough people to get him elected.
Yeah.
Dude, have you been following him on social media? He's like traveling all around. He's in New Hampshire and then Arizona.
Why?
Because, boy, he's the golden boy, man. They bring him around and they talk about how great he is.
I understand that. I don't know.
The ladies open up their checkbook.
That's the one for me that I don't understand. Taking someone from other states and why they're not spending more time inside the state, whatever your state is. I never understood that.
That's how you get to leadership roles in Congress. You go raise money for other people.
Yeah, and here's
then
the
they
other
return the favor with votes onto prestigious committees.
So remember this. How do you get to leadership roles inside of Congress and power? By doing things and raising money in other states.
Correct.
Not
100%.
actually doing stuff in your state for your constituents. No.
Nope.
That would be silly. Why would you do that? Why would you spend time going and doing things for your constituents when you can raise money from people in other states for people in other states? That's a wonderful use of your time. Just like I'm surprised every time that these representatives and senators sit down and say, well, I've got all this other time outside of my office, and with some of those, I'm meeting with lobbyists, and they're pulling a paycheck from us. We're paying them to meet with the people that are cutting them checks in order to influence their votes.
And we wonder
why
grift,
we wonder why things are broken. You wonder why.
Now, Mr. Thorpe, here's a question I have for you.
Yes, it's still itches and the cream's helping.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not what we're talking about. No.
When I look at what was finally pushing the lawmakers to negotiate, so I was listening to Tim Kaine on Meet the Press yesterday, senator from Virginia.
Who said he would never do this and then decided he was going to do this? Yes.
Former vice presidential candidate for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Tim Kaine. By the way, why do Democrats always pick the most boring white guys to become vice presidential picks? But that's the second question. I was intrigued as to, out of all the things that kind of pushed these guys to finally try to negotiate, right? He was talking about 8 million voters gave him the permission slip to go against Chuck Schumer because the woman that runs this hosts Meet the Press was asking, did you get permission from Chuck Schumer to finally vote? And he goes, no, my permission comes from the 8 million people that voted me in. So I'm sitting there going, what was the pressure that kind of pushed these guys? Was it SNAP? Was it food stamps that finally gets a lawmaker to go, we got to figure this out? I always think it's the flights.
Interesting. Why? Tell me.
Because of the types of people that I think are getting frustrated, right? Like with SNAP, you're going to get a little bit of pressure, that type of thing. But the people donating to your campaigns are not typically the ones on SNAP.
True.
The ones that are going to donate to your campaign are going to be the ones catching flights places. And when their life gets disrupted, you're going to start getting text messages and phone calls. And those are the phone calls that lawmakers are probably going to take a little bit more seriously. Just the nature of the beast. Not saying that's right or wrong, but you get a phone call or an email going, my SNAP benefits are taken away. Okay. That's not good. You get a phone call from a donor who's saying, now you're messing with my Thanksgiving plans? Who's the lawmaker listening to more? So what was the pressure point that kind of pushed these guys? I think it was the flights. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that based on some of the flights. Because, again, I think that as soon as the pain starts to hit home, there is more leverage inside of it. And I also think, though, that the Democrats, to a T, were really, really awful at messaging around this. Is that, again, as I talk about the idea of them throwing a lifeline to the GOP over rising medical insurance rates on the public exchange, that would seem like in all honesty, just strategically for me, if I'm a lawmaker in the GOP, that would seem like a no-brainer to me. And the only reason I would do it is because we know that there are going to be people that will lose health care coverage in both red and blue states because of what has happened with the health care subsidies. We know that's going to happen. And it is much easier, in my mind, for both a Democrat and a Republican to go, ooh, with this government shutdown, the only way I had to open it up, and the way to do it is to make sure these people still have their health care. That's the thing, is having this argument, and I think the Democrats should have been much better and much more pointed in their arguments about they're trying to prevent people from getting access or affordable access to health care. And that's where they failed on their message point. And even though it becomes more difficult with the flights, even though it becomes more of a personal problem, especially traveling over the holidays, that then becomes your increased pressure and leverage on the Republicans in my mind. The idea that, yes, they want to continue this and they're going to help us mess up your holiday plans because they want people to not be able to afford health care. I think that's a very strong public message that is easily digestible. I'm not talking about whether or not it's fair, accurate, or anything else. I'm just talking about the messaging as far as marketing that side of it. And the Democrats never hit, on my mind, on a very strong marketing message. And so in my mind also, they lost that battle. So they eventually had to capitulate. And I think you're right, though, that once it started screwing with average people's lives and the idea that headed into the Thanksgiving holiday season, we were going to have a complete mess and you weren't going to be able to get to where you wanted to at the time you wanted to, does have a lot of those phones rings, especially the people that write the big checks. Absolutely. Because it doesn't matter if you get through that TSA check in a priority. It doesn't matter. That's not going to affect whether or not your flight's going to go off or not. Yeah. I think that's a good point.
To my point, you really want to get the lawmakers back to the table? Have private flights affected by the government.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, have that. Yeah, just ground all of them. Then you'd be, yeah.
That'll make it, that'll last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's a good point. That is a very, very good point. Also, understand that the people that we have there, the lawmakers that are supposed to be in touch with us and talk about what we're dealing with, again, taking private flights. So yet another example about how they have no idea what you and I are going through on a daily basis. They have no clue.
So it was intriguing to watch the Sunday shows explore whether or not Chuck Schumer is going to maintain his job.
Yeah, what do you think on that?
Democrat senators going,
yeah,
oh, Chuck's fine. Disagree, Chuck's fine.
Yeah.
Democrat members, House of Representative members going, Chucky's got to go.
Yeah.
And that might just be the nature of the House, which tends to be more in tune with grassroots on either side. And the senators a little bit more esteemed and removed from the ups and downs of the grassroots.
Well, and I can see why there would be more support for Chuck in the Senate, because they got what they wanted, more or less. I mean, nothing was really disrupted other than, they eventually came to a deal. They probably weren't inconvenienced at all. None of them are on SNAP. None of them are, worried about some of these subsidies. None of them are worried about that at all. So it didn't disrupt anything that they are thinking of. The question that I have would be how much of the Mamdani influence inside of New York City spills out into the state elections, because there are some red and blue areas inside of the state of New York. And when Chuck has to run, the question I would have is, does he still think that he has enough support outside of some of those core constituencies that might now be fed up with him, given where you have an example? Oh, again, it's a city mayor, which is New York, biggest city, one of the biggest cities in the U.S., but again, still just the mayor. But that type of more progressive tact winning, is that going to tell more New York voters, hey, Chuck's not necessarily going in the direction that we have? And I really am looking at AOC. I really think that she is counting her chips in the back room, and it's just a matter of when she jumps for that seat. Is it this cycle? Is it the next? Or is the one after that? Because she has the advantage of age. She can wait.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, and Schumer's not up till 2028.
Yeah.
That's a long time in politics.
Yeah, that is. I didn't know he was up I thought he was up in the 26. Really, it's 28. Ooh, that makes sense then. But then again, that gives her a long road to really set him up as ineffectual. A long road.
What I thought was interesting, we're going to get to a break here, and then you choose the news, was who would replace Chuck? And the House Democrat members going, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren. Not a lot of options there.
No, there aren't. In many ways, it kind of comes to the same thing the Republicans did when they're looking at replacing Mitch. There were only like one or two, and Thune, I like Thune. I think that he has done a good job for what they need him to do. I don't think they have someone that can handle the job as well on the Democrat side of the ledger. I don't think that you have someone sitting behind Chuck that's in Senate right now that could come in and handle things as well as Thune has done for the Republicans, given how long Mitch had control.
Give us a call and join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. We've got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, it's one of those weeks that should be a holiday week. People really need what you're about to give them. It's a little bit of levity with You Choose the News.
Yes, if you need something to talk about with your friends and family over the Thanksgiving holiday, I've got you covered. It's what we call You Choose the News. It's America's favorite fake radio news game show. You will not believe the stories that I find browsing the interwebs every morning before the show. We throw on some really dumb headlines to play this fake radio news game show. Why would we waste valuable KNUS airtime? It's because those in charge do not arise until 7 a.m. And when left unsupervised, Jeff and I as always, are going to take full advantage. And we always need someone to blame. I mean, a partner that we bring in, and that is the duty of Blake Olson, who is joining us from the news department. Okay, gentlemen, here are your headlines this morning. Headline number 1, stop being a victim. Headline number 2, sports expansion. Headline number 3, helping out your friends. And headline number 4, sleep with famous people. Alrighty, Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Stop being a victim.
Yeah, just stop being a victim. Maybe that's what somebody needs to tell Dean Daniel Kelsey. He is currently serving a sentence in Nova Scotia because he is a, wait for it, Hells Angels hitman. Yes, back in October 2000, he shot Sean Simmons in the lobby of an apartment building. Now, Simmons was killed for having an affair with the wife of a member of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang. They take those things real seriously. In the new appeal, Kelsey, who's in his early 50s now, argued, hey, you guys are care too much about the victim. What about my feelings? Yeah. He actually put in a protest to his recent denial of parole, saying, you submit the board's reasons demonstrate the victims directly influenced the board decision, and you wonder about the actual impact of their presence, and more importantly, the weight the board gave to these presentations and attendance and blah, 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 blah. Basically, he's saying, stop listening to the victims, the people that I killed. Who cares about them? This is about me and my feelings. Please let me out. Here's the fun part. One of the things that the parole board had to consider is emotional statements by his cellmates. He's been moved around to several different corrections facilities, and to a T, all of his cellmates are like, dude creeps me out and I think he's going to hurt me. So, again, if you're in prison and fellow prisoners are like, ooh, stay away from him, I don't think they're going to let you out anytime soon. And complaining about caring about the victim's feelings, not helping the thing at all. So, no, not at all. Alrighty, Blake, sports expansion, helping out your friends, or sleep with famous people?
Sports expansion.
Yeah, sports expansion. They're looking at expanding sports for the Winter Olympics. They want to get more eyeballs there. Yeah.
No.
Yes, but they're not going to do really cool things like, maybe something like full contact ice dancing. That'll never happen. They're thinking about possibly.
I would watch that.
I would too. They're thinking about bringing in summer sports into the Winter Games.
Oh, that's so smart.
Part of the International Olympic Committee is saying that, well, guys, here by 2040, there are probably only going to be about 10 countries that are going to be able to host the amount of snow sports that we need. And so we have to start expanding this. Maybe we need to bring in some of the summer sports. So, yes, the Olympic Committee is arguing right now about is snow really necessary for Winter Olympics?
No.
I know. I think,
Throw like the Jamaican bobsled team in.
Exactly.
I hate the Olympics. Everything but track and field. They had to destroy all of it. I hate it.
For me, it's gone.
The swimming?
Expansion has gone
Come
too
on.
far.
Well, actually, the swimming. Okay,
Swimming's
swimming and boxing
fun.
and track. I like the Summer Olympics. Maybe that's what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
I do like the ski jumping. I like the bumps. I like the slalom. But I think
That's
that
pretty amazing.
I dislike the idea of, hey, let's try out these new sports like breakdancing. That's not an Olympic sport. I'm
Right.
sorry. Achilles was never going to bust a move. It's just not going to happen. All righty. Now, Jeff, helping out your friends or sleep with famous people?
Help out your friends, please.
Yeah, help out your friends. An inmate in Romania managed to access their IT system recently and took care of his friends. Yes, he altered people's sentences, their detention conditions, and other rights, including giving him more money for the commissary and a potential huge violation visiting schedules, a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Yeah,
Way to go.
He said that he served more days than he actually had. So, yeah, he hacked the system and then gave
Ferris
his friends.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Stay off right there.
Yep, that's exactly what he did, my friend. That's it. That's the end of You Choose the News. Back to you.
All right, we'll be back. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is 710 KNUS.